Hello, beautiful people. If you're new to this page, my name is Andra, and in this videos we're going over the codes, structure, and philosophy of the Dreamspell calendar based on the ancient Mayan calendar, a harmonious calendar attuned to the cycles of nature and the galaxy. So currently we are in the cosmic month of the turtle, the 13th month, the last month of the year of the Blue Lunar Storm. If you want to explore the meaning of the 13 months within the Dreamspell calendar, you can watch the video, The 13 Moons of the Year. Also, if you want to review the meaning of the energy of the year of the Blue Lunar Storm, you can check out the videos 26th of July 2020, Year of the Blue Lunar Storm, and Year of the Blue Lunar Storm Part 2. I remember when I did the video Year of the Blue Lunar Storm, the resonant month, that I was saying something like, oh, my life hasn't been so stormy yet. And while I kept navigating different inner struggles and shadows, it seemed as if I was able to keep my center. But towards the end of the year, after my birthday in April, I felt like things started to intensify a little more, and I also felt them intensify even further after the summer solstice. And all sorts of things started setting in motion in quite interesting ways since then. Most of my inner struggles were a lot about accepting and understanding certain aspects within me that were keeping me trapped in a cage of limited perceptions. And it all accelerated towards the end of the year, kind of like the universe asking me and forcing me to deal with these issues so that I can release them. And I had to really deal with my inner control freak that feels that she has to do everything and feels like she cannot trust or rely on anybody, which, isn't true, but this was the lens through which I was viewing certain situations and experiences. So my storm this year was more internal than external, and usually I experience the blue storm wave spells through events happening outside of myself that would trigger an intense inner storm. And those events were things like family issues and struggles, or getting hurt by a person that I cared about. But now it was more like from very small things, insignificant I might say, happening outside of myself, they would trigger very intense inner experiences. So yeah, for me this was a year of doing a lot of inner work and identifying what I'm being asked to let go of and letting it go. Also, if you're not sure what wave spells are, you can check out the video, The Structure of Wave Spells. And on the 26th of July, we'll be entering the year of the yellow electric seed. Yellow seed is the power of growth, the thriving seed of life that we plant in the fertile soil of our being and of this reality. It represents the seed of intentions that can grow into beautiful and fruitful manifestations if it has the right conditions to do so, which is why the yellow seed invites us to really examine the seeds that we are planting. Those seeds can either blossom and bear fruits, or they might not. And if they don't, the question is, why? Basically, this archetype invites us to look at the reason why those seeds aren't growing. What are the limiting concepts, patterns, beliefs, thoughts, and emotions that aren't allowing the seed to grow? Because, in order for a seed to transform itself into, let's say, a tree, it's a very long process, and we need all sorts of key elements present in the mixture. The sun needs to be shining on the plant, we need water to nourish it, we need nutrients in the ground, and we basically need to take care of it to make sure that the plant isn't eaten by insects or animals or stepped upon while it's still small. There are so many things that can keep a seed from reaching its highest potential. And yellow seed helps us identify what might be keeping our seeds from blossoming and growing. And when I say seed, I'm talking about two things. On one hand, I'm talking about your intentions, your creations, your projects, and on the other hand, I'm talking about the gifts that you are carrying, which are like little seeds received by our soul that we need to plant and anchor in this reality. And above all of these, the seed can actually be ourselves. Our life and our being are the fertile soil through which the mystery of life can blossom. So yellow seed invites us to find the aspects inside and outside of ourselves that are keeping us from growing into the beautiful tree that we were meant to become. And it's so fascinating that within a tiny, tiny little seed, it contains the hologram of the plant it's going to grow into, basically a hologram of its completion. There is such a deep wisdom that can be found within a seed. The flower, the tree, they know exactly how to blossom and grow. The problem is that many times our human mind thinks that it knows better how we should grow. But let's not forget that our human mind is conditioned by all of these different rules, expectations, and projections, and the normal human mind is quite limited when it comes to seeing the bigger picture of our soul and its journey. So, what the yellow seed invites us to do is to let go of the mind, to let go of all the rules, and just surrender to the higher mind, surrender to our soul. Our soul is the one that is guiding our growth process, not the mind. The mind just gets in the way and can make the whole growth experience that much more unpleasant. And in order for growth to actually take place, we must allow the space for this process to happen. And that means letting go of our mind, and our egos need to control the way that it thinks we should grow. Yellow seed invites us to trust, to have faith, and to surrender in front of the universe and life's ability to fulfill our soul. And, in the whole process, it's basically our ego who is blocking our ability to express ourselves, to fulfill ourselves, and to manifest our dreams in this reality. The ego thinks that it knows better how we should manifest, not really trusting the hologram contained within. And this happens because we are afraid, and we aren't trusting the wisdom of the seed that is within us. We aren't trusting the wisdom of our soul. But if we let go of the mind and we surrender to the heart, the place from which our soul is trying to speak to us, unexpected growth and magic can arise. And yellow seed also is the one who helps us manifest the dreams and the desires of our soul in this reality. And I want to really highlight the word soul here, because our ego can want so many different things that have actually nothing to do with the wishes and the desires of our soul. And the electric tone, the third lunar tone, represents the power of the cosmic trinity, the activation of the mind-body-spirit circuit. When we open up to feel the pulse of the sacred trinity within us, this gives us a lot of tolerance for the outside world, and also a lot of energy generated from the permanent movement within our being. when we look at the electric tone and the 3 dots, the 2 dots on the side represent the polarity of the universe, light and darkness, day and night, masculine and feminine, and so on. And the 3rd dot, which arises between them, represents the movement created from this polarized dance of duality. The permanent movement of this world is generated through the integration of the 2 polarities of the universe, the creative and the destructive energies. Polarity and duality is what gives birth to movement, to change, and to growth. And this is why the electric tone has the ability to integrate the 2 polarities within us, thus helping us to move forward. And because it's the electric tone, that means we are in the wave spell of the white wind. White wind is the messenger of the Great Spirit, the Divine Father, God, or however we want to call and name this energy, which is everywhere in this universe. It's the catalyzing wind, the catalyzing current that moves through all things, the invisible essence at the core of all creation. White wind is the one who helps us look beyond this physical, material 3D reality, and it opens us up to the spiritual and mystical experience of life. So, the white wind supports the movement of the electric tone because it's the incarnation of the movement of life, just like the wind that is moving all over the place. It can shift direction at any time. It can turn from hot to cold, from a soft and gentle breeze into a storm or a hurricane. Which is why this energy cannot be caught or limited by anyone or anything, not even by our limiting beliefs. White wind will also assist the yellow seed to follow the movement of the soul, and it's going to teach the yellow seed how to move with the currents and the flow of life without resistances. And on the 25th of July, which is the day out of time, the day in between the 2 different years, and this was a day in which the Mayans would celebrate the coming of the new year, and they would do so with ceremonies and rituals and prayers. So on this day, we have the archetype of the Blue Lunar Knight, and he's the one that will guide us back towards the inner world so that we can actually discover the seeds within us that need to be brought to the surface in this following year. So this next year will be a lot about growth, movement, developing more tolerance, and letting go of our resistances towards growth and change, and letting go of our mind and surrendering, allowing the voice of our heart to guide us, and a year for coming one step closer to manifesting the dreams and the desires of our soul. For me, last yellow seed year, it was a yellow crystal seed year. That was actually the year when I had this profound experience around the time of the Mayan New Year, which led me to realize that I actually need to work with this calendar system. So last yellow seed year for me was quite an intense one, with a lot of growth and a lot of struggles and challenges, but also a lot of magical experiences as a result of that growth, because that's actually when we grow the most, when we face our wounds and our challenges that are pushing us outside of our comfort zone. But anyway, I for one am really looking forward to the energy of this year and all of the movement and the growth that it will bring. Any other questions you might have about the Dreamspell calendar, or if you want to explore your galactic identity, your light and shadow aspects through a galactic signature decoding session, you can send me a message either on my Facebook page or on my email. So, wishing you a fearless day and a beautiful new year filled with growth, magic, and love. In Lak'Ech,